It is November 5th, 2025, and I'm back in the blind where I shot my buck out of this year in the hopes of getting a doe. And generally, I like to tell my clients, if you're going to shoot a doe, shoot it early because, they're just using resources, and if you're going to end up harvesting them, you might as well get them out before they take a whole bunch of resources. And I didn't listen to my own advice this year. I shouldn't say that. I have shot a doe, and I hunted with my daughter when she shot a doe. But on this property, I haven't shot a doe, and there's way too many does on this property. But part of it is it was so warm, and it's not the most convenient situation for dealing with it. So tonight it's going to get nice and cool, so I've green lighted myself to harvest a doe if I get the right one. There's a few that I'd like to get out of here and a few that I'd like to leave. So my plan is this. No guarantee it works, but if I can harvest a doe or get a good shot on it, I want it to be easy, and I want it with adequate light that I can find her even before it gets dark. So that means waiting a half an hour before I go trail it, assuming the shot is good, and then going to get her and getting her dealt with before it gets dark would be my goal. Things could change, and maybe I'll shoot one closer to the end of season, but that's not what I want. I also don't want to shoot one right away, just because it is still a little warm and sunny, but to have the meat sit around for a couple hours waiting for her to get sunset isn't ideal in this situation. So I'm not painting myself into a corner for the fact that I can come out tomorrow morning and hunt this spot and have a chance, or tomorrow evening. So but tonight's the first night I'm really green lighting myself to shoot a doe on this property, so we'll see if I can be one and done. But anyway, I hope your hunt's going well, and if you need some help improving your habitat or coming up with some hunting strategies, you can find me or reach out to me on my website at www.whitetailhabitatconsulting.com, and I look forward to talking with you, and good luck. I just took a doe. I think I made a good shot, but it's plenty early, so we're going to give her some time, and then we'll go look for her. But it was one of the does that I wanted to harvest, and I think I made a good humane shot on her, and I should be able to find her before it gets dark. Wish me luck. I have a couple deer coming back into the field. And a plane flying over as well. And it I think you can see what I mean by having too many deer. And, you know, there is 2.5 hours or a little more than that of season left. And this is after shooting a doe already in this field. I do have another doe tag, but I'm not going to fill it tonight. Another doe.
I use a piece of plywood to make a ramp to help me load these deer. It's especially handy when you're doing it by yourself. And as you get older, here she goes. Let the blood drip out just a little bit. And send her on her way. Well, I just wanted to recap everything that occurred before I butcher this deer. So I shot it last night, thought it was a great shot, thought I'd have a good blood trail. I turn her here, there's my entrance hole. A little bit low, but right here behind the shoulder. Anyway, was happy enough with the shot. The exit hole is right here. And so, strange thing, you know, I found some hair, no blood. And so this morning I went out and did a grid search, and the crows were active and they were right where the deer was. So I'm thankful for the crows to help guide me to this deer. And you know, I've shot a lot of deer with my bow over the years, and this is probably a first for me. So when I got to her, the entrance hole here, there was a little bit of a lung hanging out of that. So that was kind of plugged. And then on the other side, on this side, there was a chunk of fat that had blocked that exit hole. So, you know, if we do look up here, a little bit on the mouth, you can see a little bit of blood. And so sometimes they will start coming out of their mouth and their nose and stuff because of the lung shot. And I never saw that sign. You know, the area that I'm hunting is very difficult tracking. It's, you know, pine needles and sand, and, you know, it's just not nearly as easy tracking as some of the other areas that I hunt. But that is probably why I didn't find any sign. It went maybe 100 yards, 140 yards. I'd have to look back, but somewhere in there. I mean, probably over 100 yards, but less than 150. And so anyway, it was a nice cool night. It got down to 28 degrees. We'll get her skinned out, get her butchered, and my family's going to enjoy this venison.